So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, there's crazy news coming out. Guys, there's apparently reports that, Errol Spence has turned down a Manny Pacquiao fight. He's not interested in fighting Manny Pacquiao. He wants to unify and he wants to become undisputed. You know what? I find this news kind of crazy because normally fighters won't turn down fight or the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao. I like it and I don't like it, and I'll explain why. I like it because it shows ambition from Spence. It shows the fact that Errol Spence isn't about just fighting Manny Pacquiao because it's Manny Pacquiao. He's all about collecting the belts and collecting the treasure, which is great because that shows that he's not just about, fighting a guy because he's got a huge name like Pacquiao and taking that name if he wins and saying, I fought Pacquiao, I fought a legend, I beat a legend. Errol Spence is about collecting the treasure, which is good. But why I don't like it is because obviously Manny Pacquiao is a legend. Manny Pacquiao is a fight which I think every fighter should jump towards. If Manny Pacquiao is the one that's pushing the fight, if Manny Pacquiao is pushing a fight with Errol Spence, I don't understand why Errol Spence would turn it down. It'd be by far the biggest name on his resume, and by far, if he beats Manny Pacquiao, the biggest win on his resume. Even though Manny Pacquiao's 42, you can't be telling me Sean Porter, or you can't be telling me Mikey Garcia, who was a blown-up lightweight, or even Kell Brook, or anyone that Errol Spence has fought is a better win than Manny Pacquiao. Even this Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao beat a guy in Keith Thurman who beat Danny Garcia, who beat Sean Porter. Right? So Manny Pacquiao beat that guy when that guy was undefeated world champion. So, that Manny Pacquiao would still be Errol Spence's biggest win. It'd be his biggest payday by far. So I'm kind of surprised if, these reports that come out that Errol Spence wants to fight Ugas and collect the belts, that Errol Spence has turned down a Manny Pacquiao fight. It's surprising. It's surprising. And I didn't expect Errol Spence. I'd expect Errol Spence to jump at the opportunity to fight Pacquiao. And that's why you do question these reports, because they're not, it might be something he said on live or on Instagram, but or I don't know where he's said this, but it has been reported that Errol Spence is not interested. Errol Spence wants to fight he wants to fight guys with the belts, and he wants to fight Terence Crawford. Now, I actually think that if Errol Spence was to fight Manny Pacquiao, beat him, and Errol Spence would become even more popular. He's already a bigger name than Terence Crawford. We all know that. He's got a bigger appeal. He's got a bigger fan base. He's also done bigger numbers than Crawford in terms of pay-per-view. He's a bigger star. He's also holding more of the belts. His resume is stronger, although I believe Crawford's achieved more in terms of belts. I think Spence's resume is stronger. Spence is the bigger star. So if he beats Pacquiao, fights Pacquiao, that'd be even a bigger fight. It'd be his biggest fight to date. It'd be bigger pay-per-view numbers. And then for me, that fight becomes even more harder to make because, like I said, Crawford's not taking anything less than 50-50. But yeah, I was surprised that, when I heard this news that Spence is not interested, and he's, why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't you be interested in fighting Manny Pacquiao? The guy's a legend. He's 42 years of age. He's obviously seen better days. He's at the end of his career. You're gonna make a shed load of money. Is Spence that drawn on just winning belts? Is that it? His last fight, although it was a mandatory against Danny Garcia, wasn't for a belt. Manny Pacquiao, see, Errol Spence did say when Manny Pacquiao lost the belt, he goes, I was interested in your belt, not you. I didn't believe that. I thought if Manny Pacquiao came to the table that Errol Spence would play ball and want the fight. But actually, if this is true, then it's actually not true, because Errol Spence doesn't. He wants the belts. Errol Spence wants to collect all the treasure. Maybe, listen, at the end of the day, a lot of these guys have ambitions of becoming undisputed and cleaning up the division. That is becoming undisputed is something very big for most fighters at the top level. They want to become undisputed. They want to clean up. They want to show they're the best in the division. And the division right now at welterweight is very jam-packed. It's stacked. It's a very hard division. And in order for you to clean up this welterweight division, you are legitimately a champion. You are legitimately a pound for pounder. You are legitimately a top boy. If you are able to clean up, you are legitimate. You are legitimate. That's all I'm going to say. You are legitimately a top guy. You are a top dog. Simple as that. You are the top of the top, you know. And for me, I personally think that Spence and Pacquiao's. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that we want to see. It's a fight that we all would like to see. And I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see Manny Pacquiao beat Errol Spence. I think it's a great fight. Obviously, Spence would be a favorite going in, but Pacquiao's Pacquiao. You know, we want to see Manny Pacquiao fight. We want to see Manny Pacquiao in there with the best still. That's just the expectation his fans and us guys have on Manny Pacquiao, even though Manny Pacquiao's not at his best anymore. Manny Pacquiao is at the end of his career, but yet we still have expectations of him fighting the best. And I think that just shows how incredible Manny Pacquiao is. I don't know. I don't know whether the fight's going to come off. I don't know whether it's going to come to fruition. I don't know whether it's going to happen. But one thing I can say is that Manny Pacquiao still wants to fight the best. He's still hungry. I've seen some Spence fans come at me and say that Manny Pacquiao hasn't got anything to offer for Spence. He's got a whole bag load of money. It's a big payday for Errol Spence, and he'd be fighting. It'd be the biggest win on Errol Spence's resume by a country mile. So I don't know why all the Spence fans would say he's got nothing to offer. Manny Pacquiao is one of the biggest names in boxing. It'll be the biggest payday for Spence. Well, it won't be the biggest payday for Manny. It'd be the biggest win on his resume if he's able to win. So why wouldn't you take the fight? Surely the fight with Pacquiao is more credible. Let's not forget why Ugas is world champion right now. Let's not forget how Ugas got instated as world champion, and let's not forget who held that belt prior to getting stripped, you know. And we all know that Ugas was handed that belt because they felt that Manny Pacquiao wasn't gonna fight anytime soon, and he was gonna fight McGregor. So they made Ugas champion. But actually now Ugas hasn't had a fight. Ugas is not fighting anybody, and I think it was done in order to make Spence Ugas and make Spence a unified belt holder of 3-weight. I reckon Al Heyman. I definitely think that there was some powers to be that got involved and probably got Manny stripped and so then Errol Spence can become a unified champion. I think definitely something to do with that. But it's a great fight, man. It's a great fight. It's a fight that we want to see. It'd be a great matchup between two great fighters. One obviously at the end of his career, and one, you know, at the peak of his powers. But it's a fight that we all want to see. It's a fight that we all would love to see. I've wanted to see Manny Pacquiao against Spence Crawford for a very long time. One of those at least before he ends his career. I do think it's a bit late now, so I wouldn't mind if he doesn't fight any of them, because I do think it's come a bit too late. I think a couple of years prior, I think it would have been unbelievable 50-50 fights. But right now, I have to say that Manny Pacquiao's now at the end of his career, and he's been very inactive as well. So you'd have to favour the younger, fresher, hungrier champions. And by the way, I wouldn't call him hungrier, because I still think Pacquiao at this age, even though he's a lot older, he's still very hungry. And that I think the fact that he wants to fight Crawford or Spence, I think just validates that point. The fact that he's still very hungry. Errol Spence is hungry for belts. Errol Spence wants to prove that he's the best welterweight in the world. Errol Spence wants to fight everybody. Errol Spence, he's the man. Errol Spence is the man right now at welterweight. Let's be honest. I know a lot of people say Crawford, but at the end of the day, Errol Spence has got the best resume at 147. Obviously not including Pac, but he's got the best resume at 147. He's beaten currently out of him and Crawford. You'd have to say that Spence deserves to be the #1 guy because his resume is far better. He's beaten Porter, he's beaten Danny Garcia, he's beaten Mikey Garcia, he's beaten Kell Brook. You know, he's beaten some good names. And now they're looking to put another name on there in Ugas or Pacquiao. Pacquiao, I don't think it's gonna happen. Just the fact that Errol Spence has come out and said what he said probably makes me think it's not gonna happen even more. But I like it. I like that from Errol Spence. The fact that maybe it's a negotiation tactic from Errol Spence as well. Maybe it's to show that Manny that, listen, I'm not gonna just take any offer. So I'm not interested. I don't know. I don't know whether I don't know what's behind it, because it doesn't make sense for Errol Spence not to fight Manny Pacquiao. And you would think Errol Spence would run after a fight like that. You would think that Errol Spence would welcome that fight and say, yeah, of course I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. Like, that's what most fighters say, right? Keith Thurman was champion, Manny Pacquiao wasn't champion, but Keith Thurman ran towards that fight. But I think I do think that Keith Thurman wanted that fight because he felt that Manny Pacquiao was past his best and he would beat him and it would be an easy payday, and then he can fight one of the other guys and make an even bigger payday. I think that's what Keith Thurman was trying to do. It backfired. It backfired good and proper because he didn't beat Manny Pacquiao, and now Keith Thurman is trying to get Errol Spence to fight him. He's trying to get them to fight him, but he's in the Who Needs Me club, and Errol Spence isn't showing him. He's not showing him any love. He doesn't want to fight him anymore. He goes, when I was champion, you didn't want to fight me, and now that I'm unified champion, you want to fight me, and I'm not going to fight you. So Errol Spence is putting Keith Thurman on the shelf, and he's not interested anymore. So you listen. I like Errol Spence. I've always been a fan. I'm surprised because I do think that he would be really keen in a Manny Pacquiao fight, even though Manny Pacquiao's not a belt holder because he was stripped. But the fact of the matter is, it shows ambition. It shows that Errol Spence wants to become undisputed champion. And that makes me happy at the fact that I think that the chance of the Crawford fight is possible. And the chance that Crawford Spence happens is possible because Errol Spence wants it. Errol Spence wants to become undisputed. So surely if he wants it, the fight has a great chance of happening because it's an ambition of his. And that's why I think this has proven to me that Errol Spence's ambition wants to become undisputed champion. If he has turned down a Pacquiao fight, which I don't know. I can't say. We can't say if he has turned down a Pacquiao fight. Whether he wants Ugas, I don't know. Only his and his team and his people that manage his career know that. But maybe Errol Spence is focused on becoming undisputed. He's not interested in Pacquiao anymore. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you can look at it from a negative. I'm pretty sure a lot of the Pacquiao fans will say it's a duck from Spence, the duck. And then Spence fans will say, oh, well, what's Pacquiao got to offer Spence? He's got nothing to offer. He's got nothing for Errol Spence. I'm pretty sure the fans in the comment section are going to come out in force, which is always entertaining to see you guys give your opinions about it. Pacquiao fans on one side, Spence fans on one side, but as long as you guys are debating with one another in a not using any bad language or you hating each other or hating towards saying things that are hurtful to one another, I'm all for it. Keep your debates or your opinions respectful, and that's all I would say. But yeah, listen, man, it's two great fighters. I want to see the fight. I would love to see the fight. I'd love to see Manny Spence. I'd love to see it. So of course I'd love to see Manny Pacquiao Spence over Ugas Spence. Of course I would. Of course I would, and you guys would. Spence fans would. Pacquiao fans would. But I think Spence is focused on now becoming undisputed, which is great for the division, which is great. The fact that he's got that energy, he's got that ambition to become the undisputed champion. Because what happens is that Crawford fight has a better chance of happening. Like, I do think there's going to be obstacles in the way, and I do think it's going to be difficult because I do think Spence's popularity is growing, and Spence has all the guys to fight, and Spence is doing big numbers every time he's becoming a bigger star, whereas Crawford is kind of stagnant right now. He's not really growing. His profile's not growing. So Spence will definitely have, by the time that fight gets made, will definitely be able to command more money. It's just that, will Spence say, you know what, I want to become undisputed so bad that the split doesn't matter. Give it 50-50. Let him have 50%. I just want to become undisputed. Will Spence show that kind of energy? I'm not sure. And listen, I do think it's getting to the point now where Spence is becoming a star and he is growing. And maybe if Crawford doesn't get a move on, he doesn't start getting these big fights, maybe Spence will have a legitimate reason to ask for a higher split. He'll have a legitimate reason, but if he doesn't, or if he already doesn't, the reason why I was saying 50-50 because I don't think Spence was that big a star than Crawford, but who knows, in a year's time he may well be. By the time this fight, he may even be a way bigger star. So Spence is growing, his popularity is growing, and he is a bigger brand, a bigger name than Terence Crawford, and hopefully we can get these big fights on, because I really want to see them. I really want to see Spence Crawford. I really want to see Manny Pacquiao v Errol Spence or Crawford. I want to see Manny Pacquiao Crawford. That's a big fight. That's a fight that I would like to see. And I'm pretty sure it's a fight that you guys would like to see. But in boxing nowadays, we don't seem to get the fights that we want to see, especially when it comes to the welterweight division. When it comes to the lightweight division, it looks like in the heavyweight division, we're set for the biggest fight that could potentially be made in boxing, in heavyweight boxing, and boxing in general, in Fury and Joshua, even though that's taking its time to get over the line, which it would, because it's such a big fight. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think Pacquiao Spence will happen? A lot of people don't think it'll happen. A lot of people think that, you know, Spence wants to unify and become undisputed. Manny Pacquiao, does Manny Pacquiao really want the fight? I believe so. I believe Manny Pacquiao either wants Spence or Crawford before he finishes. You know, Manny Pacquiao has always been that type of guy. He's been about legacies. Manny Pacquiao has always had the ambition to be the best, even at age, and he always wants to break records. He always wants to, you know, break boundaries and past boundaries. And I feel like Pacquiao, I think he'd want to fight Spence or Crawford before he retires, but I don't think right now it would be the right fight. I think he's been very inactive, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he should be taking a tune-up at Garcia. Would you like to see him jump in with Crawford or Spence right away after a 2-year layoff, or would you like to see him take a tune-up fight, or not a tune-up fight, but a competitive fight where he would be favored to win, like a Garcia? To see if he can come through that, which is a less riskier fight, less dangerous fight. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Join my Instagram, join my Facebook group, join my Facebook page, join all my social media, Twitter, join all my social media. Guys, make sure to like the video, make sure to share the video, get the video out there, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.